Hey everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
And happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, the 23rd of December.
I didn't know this until today, but according to Wikipedia, Festivus is officially, or as officially as these types of things can get, on December 23rd.
Yes, that's in the Seinfeld episode. Kramer asks for the 23rd off. That's how
right.
How you
Okay.
know.
I guess I should know that. I didn't pay enough attention
Well,
to television.
You're not. You like the shows, but you don't absorb the dialogue the way I do.
Well, most of us heard about Festivus from Seinfeld.
Where else would you have? Well, I guess from somebody else.
Apparently it dates back to 1966. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Dan O'Keefe, who is a television writer who wrote that episode of Seinfeld with Festivus, his dad invented it.
Oh, yeah.
And
felt like I was going to sneeze for a second, but maybe I'm not.
Don't do that.
I'm going to try not to.
So his dad invented it, and they celebrated many of the different traditions for Festivus that they do on the show, like feats of strength and airing of grievances. But instead of an aluminum pole, his dad would put an alarm clock in a paper bag and nail it to the wall. And when he asked his dad, why do we do that? His dad said, that's not for you to know. Okay. I wish I knew the story behind that, but happy
Actually,
Festivus.
now that you recount that story, I do remember at one point reading about that Festivus came from one of the writers.
Well, let's talk about the real estate market. And a lot of the time lately we've been like, do we have to talk about the market?
Yeah.
But today, I'm kind of excited about it because we're experiencing a bit of a Santa rally in the San Diego real estate market.
Christmas miracles left and right.
Right. So why don't you talk about that?
Well, as I mentioned yesterday in San Diego Market Watch, new listings continue to decline. Overall inventory continues to decline, and pending sales are higher than the new listings. So we're seeing the inventory continuing to decline, and pending sales being pretty strong. And hello, Bella.
Hi, Bella. She looks like she wants somebody to pick her up. She might stay. It's a Festivus miracle.
No, she's going to clause.
She's going to clause.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Bella.
So yeah, there's like you say, a Santa rally. In the last 2 weeks, we've opened four sides of escrow, and some clients of ours who have been trying to find a house, that were needing to find a house before they could list their house, found it, got it in escrow. We're going to go live with that early next week. Just a lot of stuff going on, and all of this declining inventory and strong pending sales have. Prices are firming up a bit. Prices have firmed up a bit. Whether or not that holds remains to be seen, but I'll take the Santa rally.
And interest rates have come down a little bit. They're still higher than we'd like, but they've come down, and some of the buyers who were waiting around are jumping back in. So
yeah, we did have a little uptick in rates earlier this week. There was some weird economic news out of Japan that jostled rates here. And I've got one buyer who's doing what they call floating right now. In other words, under contract on a property, getting the loan process started, but hasn't yet locked the rate because the lender feels like it's gonna soften up again before they have to lock. So bit of a gamble on that one, but people are floating it right now in hopes that next week the rates are a little bit better. So that's what's happening in the market.
All right. Well, in other news,
very busy.
Yes, that's. I mean, it's challenging to be busy during the holidays, but certainly better than sitting around, wondering if you're going to be able to pay your electric bill.
Yeah, no, I'll take the busy, absolutely, because a busy December leads to a busy January, which gets your next year started off well. So, I'll take it, absolutely.
Well,
Just don't call me tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tomorrow we're planning to go to Torrey Pines and check out the super low tide. It's a wintertime new moon, and often we have very low and very high tides. We've got the king tides, and I was wondering today, we've got king tides, that's a super high tide. Well, what is a super low tide called? And it turns out there is a name for it. It's called a neap tide, N-E-A-P.
Neap.
And I don't know, I think maybe they should have come up with a better name for it, but
yeah, a little bit
that's
better.
What it's called.
All right.
So in other news, yesterday, 6,500 SDG&E customers lost power when a squirrel tampered with the power lines.
Where was this?
This was in Normal Heights, North Park, and University Heights.
And is the squirrel okay?
Well, okay, so this is going to be another one of these stories where we say something, that the news reported, but they really didn't give us the details that we're looking for. And that was my first thought. How is the squirrel? So they say the outage was caused by a squirrel that came into contact with a power line or equipment.
I'm guessing the squirrel is not okay.
Well, I don't know why they couldn't be.
We wouldn't know because the journalists didn't interview the squirrel.
No,
or anybody else.
Even anybody who knew the squirrel.
Now, this is interesting. Speaking of journalism, I was just looking at Facebook, and I saw on NBC7's Facebook page that Artie Ojeda, 27-year San Diego television reporter, is retiring today, filed his last story today. Hell of a guy, super fast.
You used to go running with Artie.
Well, I used to run at the same place and time that Artie ran. I didn't run with Artie.
Well, okay. You knew Artie because you ran,
I ran well behind Artie.
Yeah, so I remember that one. There's a San Diego, which half marathon was that?
Oh, that was the America's AFC.
Yes,
America's
we were running the
Cities.
AFC half marathon, and this was, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And Artie was running too. And we were struggling up that last hill.
Yes.
And Artie had already finished, and he was riding around the race course on his bicycle.
Just cruising around.
Yeah, and
half marathon's nothing to Artie.
He had some cold Gatorades with him, and because he knew you, he stopped by us and gave us some Gatorade. And
he gave us some Gatorade.
Really
yes.
good Gatorade.
It was
really
the best Gatorade I've ever had. I appreciated it, and all the people around us were like, "Oh God, why do they get Gatorade?" And I just, we're at the end of a 13-mile run, you can get punchy, and I think I shouted something like, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," or something like that. And so that was some good Gatorade. So cheers to you, Artie.
Cheers to you, Artie.
The real anchor man.
That's right.
The real anchor man. San Diego loves you, buddy.
Yes. So recently, Redfin put out a survey of the top 10 metros home buyers are moving into by net inflow. So what metros are people moving to the most?
Austin, Texas?
No, Texas was. So I'm just going to go top 5, and Texas is not in it. Neither is Arizona.
Oh, you know what? I know the answer. Before you say it, it's got to be Montana, Flathead Lake, Montana.
It's actually not, but that sounds like a good guess.
Okay.
So number 1, and I was kind of surprised by this, but it's Sacramento, California.
Oh, interesting.
Which we do have some clients who just opened escrow on a place in Sacramento, so people are moving there. Number 2, Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
People are moving to Vegas.
Vegas just keeps growing. That's crazy.
Number 3 and 4 are both in Florida, Miami and Tampa.
Don't go there.
And then, number 5 is
Sorry.
Number 5, San Diego.
Really?
People are moving to San Diego.
Wow,
So
that's
to me, that kind of refutes the narrative that, everyone's leaving California in droves. People are moving away from California.
Not true.
Well, they're moving to San Diego.
Yeah.
Because it's America's finest city.
It is, and that everybody leaving California narrative is just not true. I mean, I could. There's been a lot of redistricting and things that have happened in California that did cause California to lose one or two house seats. But it's more to do with the way the districts got drawn than it is with population. And I think during the pandemic, California may have briefly seen a slight decline in population, or it was due to slowing of the birth rate so...
Well, everyone is not moving out of San Diego into Texas.
No.
Contrary to popular belief, or Arizona.
No.
Some people might be, but it's not
Some are going to Sacramento.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's a hell of a city. Go Sac. But yeah, all right.
Okay. So speaking of, how San Diego is a sweet place to live, it's supposed to be one of the warmer spots in the U.S. on Christmas Day.
I know, that's crazy. It's like a hard freeze all over the country, and here in San Diego, Christmas Day is going to be 78 degrees and sunny.
Well, the weather report says mid-70s on the coast and low 80s inland. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a warm day, and that has happened many times in my memory on Christmas Day in San Diego. I remember a couple of rainy ones. But primarily, warm and sunny is my overall memory of Christmases in San Diego.
Yes, well, should be a good one. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I also read that over 5,000 flights have been canceled.
Oh, wow, yeah, the people at the airport are having a...
I mean, that's just terrible. A lot of people are going to be spending Christmas in an airport. And there's a reason that, the holiday travel is dreaded. I mean, it's a cliche because it's true. I mean, traveling
Something always goes wrong at the holiday travel.
And generally, it's weather related.
So Google just put out a report. It's the local year in review. So what's trending on Google for certain areas? So in San Diego, apparently people searched for Pilates more than any other place in the country. People in San Diego are really into Pilates.
Work on that core.
The top trending animal in San Diego for Google search was the hooded oriole, the bird, which I found interesting because I actually searched for hooded oriole this year because they came into our backyard. It's like a big yellow bird with, some black markings on its head.
Okay.
So I helped contribute to making the hooded oriole the #1 Google searched animal in San Diego.
Interesting.
You're welcome, hooded oriole.
Yes.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, hooded oriole.
So another couple things. The top searched recipe, according to Google, for San Diego was gyro meat. And I find that very strange and hard to believe because do you know anyone who's ever made their own gyro meat?
No, I guess I can understand wanting to because it can be delicious, but you're never going to get that gyro thing going on without the horizontal.
You've got like the pole and the
vertical. The vertical
meat
rotisserie
log with the thing that they slice it on. And I don't know how you do that at home, but it seems like folks in San Diego are looking to do that.
Well, back when I remember I worked a long time. I have a phenomenal meatloaf recipe. I haven't made it in a long time because we really don't eat meat very much. You don't, well, anyway. Not a lot of meat being eaten by the two of us. Red meat anyway. Fish, shrimp. It's okay. Anyway. But back in the days when I was into meatloaf, I worked very hard to come up with what I call my Mediterranean meatloaf. And it does have, it's an homage to the gyro.
Okay, well.
That's a short way to shorten that story. Because last week's show was way too long.
Yeah.
Because I kept talking too much.
Well, I don't know what you did.
I hosted. When you host, it's
Well, you did a good job.
I did, but it went on too long.
Well, maybe we should wrap it up because it smells like you're cooking something in the kitchen that I want to eat.
Well, yeah, it's the fried rice is Friday fried rice is happening again. So I think the last week's show, while I don't mind doing a long show, the file got too big for all the various things that she needs to do with it, and Mark Zuckerberg over there at Facebook screwed you over on the large file size.
I feel like I have a peppercorn in my throat or something.
Well, go ahead and...
No.
Oh, no. Well, Deva has a peppercorn in her throat, and dinner is almost ready, so I guess what we need to do is to say Merry Christmas.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, and we will be back next Friday for the New Year edition of Friday Wrap-Up, or TGI Friday, whatever. What do we call it? TGI Friday.
TGIF Live. And I won't eat any peppercorns before this show.
I gotta keep the peppercorns away from this one. She's she's chewing them up, and they get stuck in the throat, and then this happens.
And then it ruins our show. Oh, Jamie, Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Thank
Jamie,
you for stopping by.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. We're hilarious. I appreciate that. Well, I guess it's about time to get on out of here. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Congratulations, Artie Ojeda, on your long journalistic television career in San Diego. And if I forgot anything...
Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend with family and friends.
Yep.
Enjoy your Christmas and whatever other festivities you might be
engaged
enjoying,
in. Yes. And don't chew on peppercorns.
No. See y'all later.